Hello and welcome to episode number 7 of season 2 of Art with Mr. Borja. I'm Mr. Borja. I just want to say a huge thank you to all of the artists that have sent in the artwork from previous episodes. I want to say that it's really cool to see all the creative ideas that do come out of your artwork. And I just want to say thank you. Here's a look at some of the artists' artwork that they've sent in from previous episodes. Let's check it out. As always, folks, if you would like your artwork showcased on next week's episode of Art with Mr. Borja, you can send it on over to happydrawing123@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at Art with Mr. Borja and tag your artwork with the hashtag Art with Mr. Borja. Alrighty, friends, I have heard a lot of artists say that they were pretty sad that Arttoberfest is over, and I want to say that is okay. I'm still going to continue to do the art episodes, and hopefully in the future I can continue to do something fun, probably for the winter. I don't know. I also want to say a huge shout out to the Los Angeles Dodgers for their win of the World Series. It's super exciting to see that the past 32 years of not having a World Series championship has finally ended. They're world champions. I know a lot of you are going to say, you don't really like that, but that's all right. Go Dodgers. All right, we're going to get started with our episode. All right, artists, we're going to go ahead and go over some of our art rules right now. Rule number 1 is to respect each other and materials. Like I always say, art is for everybody. If there's anybody at home that would like to join you in this art lesson, please ask them to. Also, respect the materials. Anything that you use, you have to make sure you are in charge of it and put it away. Rule number 2 is come prepared to work. I want to challenge you to do the whole art lesson for the whole time. However, I understand that some of you could use a little bit of a wiggle break, and that's okay. If you want to take a wiggle break, go ahead and do that. You can also return to art when you feel ready. Rule number 3 is to be creative and use your imagination. There is no right or wrong answer when it comes to art. Anything that you do or create, I'm sure I will love. And last but not least, rule number 4, clean up all materials. That is how we respect the materials, but you have to clean them up because that way the materials last as long as they can. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and use a black permanent marker because it's easier to see on the paper. If you are using a pencil, it is a better idea to do that because it's easier to erase pencil marks than it is the marker marks. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first line I'm going to use for our apple pie is going to be a long curved line that goes from one side of the paper all the way up and to the other side. It's actually not going to go all the way up. You want it to curve a little bit like that, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I mean right now. Go from this side all the way over to this side, like that. Alrighty, the next line I'm going to draw is going to go again from one side of the page to the other. It's going to be a wavy line, but I'm going to start it from this side. I'm going to come around like this and start to do the wavy line. And as I'm creating the wavy line, it's going to go down a little bit and then come back up on the other side like that. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to go ahead and connect this side of the line to this side. But I'm going to create a parallel wavy line that uses the same shape as the one I drew right here, like this. Comes down and up. And it's a parallel wavy line. That means it looks the same as the line that's underneath it, but they never touch, like that. Now we're almost done with our apple pie here. You will need one or two lines, one on each side, one coming down this way and one coming down this way, like this. Now I want to use this to help guide me in drawing this line here. I'm not going to draw the line over here because if you have seen apple pies, the edges or the crust, it comes over the top of the tin that's holding the apple pie. So go ahead and use this edge right here to help guide you. I'm going to start my line from here and go down a little bit like that. And I'm going to do the same thing to this side. Use this as a point to guide you and guide your line. And go down like this. Like that. As you can see, we're almost done with our apple pie here. The last line I want to draw is a curved line that's going to connect this line to this line. And it's going to come down a little bit and then back up again, like this. I want you to take your time. Come back up like that. So that is pretty much the outline of our apple pie. Now, I have eaten lots of apple pies in my day. And some of the cool things that I like about them are that some of them have crisscross lines on the crust up here. Some of them have like holes or different shapes. I'm gonna draw a couple shapes here. They're like some teardrop shapes. I'm gonna draw one over here. It's gonna look kind of like a flower. I'm gonna start with one teardrop shape in the center, like this. It's like an oval, but not quite. Like that. And then if you want to draw crisscross shapes on your pie crust or the outside layer of your apple pie, you can. You don't have to draw it the same way I do. In fact, I encourage you to show me the creative ideas that you come up with. All right, now I want to draw another one on this side over here, another teardrop, but it's going to go slanting like that. And what I do to one side, I do to the other, like that. And I can draw another one, or half of another teardrop shape up here like this. like that. And it's starting to look more and more like a pie. Now, I really love apple pie, so I want to draw an apple on the other side of this pie. So that way the audience knows this is an apple pie because it's not cut. I cannot see the inside of the pie. So I want to share what kind of pie this is with my audience. And this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to draw an apple that's kind of coming out of the other side of the pie, like this. So apples are usually pretty big, but not too big. I'm going to draw it like this. And they use curved lines. So draw that curved line over here. And if you don't want to draw this apple, that's fine. You don't have to. Draw a little curved line. Then I'm going to draw the stem of the apple, like that. And then the other part of the apple, like this. You could draw a little leaf on the stem. Again, if you don't want to draw the apple, you don't have to. I have an apple here that I drew. I have my pie right here in the middle. And then I have this empty space here that I want to add something to it, but I don't know what. Ah, I know. Now, I'm a huge fan of coffee. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and draw a coffee mug right here. Now, if you don't like coffee or you can't drink coffee just yet and you want to draw a cup of hot cocoa, awesome, you can do that too. It uses the same container. So I'm going to draw an oval shape, and you don't have to draw this part if you don't want to. If you want to challenge yourself today, go for it. All right, here we go. Here's how I draw my coffee mugs. I draw an oval shape like this. I'll wait for you to draw that if you're drawing it. Then I draw another half oval shape on the other side of this oval, like this. I don't go all the way around though, because this is part of the cup. I'm gonna go down like that. And over here, I'm gonna go down as well, like that. You can draw the little handle over here if you want to. Again, if you're drawing the hot cocoa, great for wanting a challenge. If you don't want a challenge today, that's totally fine. And there you go. I have my apple, my apple pie, my coffee, or hot cocoa. Now, yeah, I think I'm all set and ready for coloring. Alrighty, artists, I'm gonna go ahead and start coloring my apple pie. I'm gonna use my markers today. If you are using color pencils, crayons, that is totally fine. But remember, everything that you use, it is your responsibility to put away. All right, so I wanna color the apple first. And however you wanna color your apple, it's totally fine. If you wanna color your apple green, you can do that. I know that there are some green ones, there are some yellow ones, some orange ones, some red ones. There is no right or wrong answer. If you want to color it in a rainbow color, go for it. I'd like to see that. Now, I'm gonna color it. Don't know how I want to color it yet. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and use these straight lines, like this. Straight parallel lines. And you don't have to color it in the same way. If you want to use the pointillism technique, go for it. If you want to use a different technique, go for it. If you want to color it in one solid color, I'd like to see that as well. I just really like the way that these lines look. So I want to continue to color it in like that. I hope you've been having a wonderful day so far. Hope you have had a chance to help out some of your grown-ups at home. Hope you've got some of the schoolwork done as well. Now, while I was doing research for this while I was doing research for this episode of Art with Mr. Borja, I learned a couple of pretty interesting facts about apple pies. One of them I want to share with you right now is the first apple pie recipe was printed over 630 years ago. So that was in England in the year 1381. That's a long, long time ago. You're probably thinking, wait, I thought apple pies were American. Nope. They came from England. Or at least the first recipe was printed over there. All right. Let's see. Color brown. Again, I'm using this technique to color it in. You don't have to use the same technique. If you want to use a different one, go for it. In fact, I encourage you to have your artwork look completely different than mine. I like seeing all the creative ideas that you all come up with. And again, take your time when you're coloring your artwork. All right, now I'm gonna color in my coffee in my cup over here because I love me some cafecito. I hope that you have had a chance to hop out again around the house with some chores. The reason I'm saying that, kiddos, is because I know that during this pretty chaotic and hectic time, our grown-ups are doing a lot. And it's a good idea just to ask them if they need some help. And any little thing that you do, I'm sure they will be very appreciative of. So just ask. Like, can I take out the trash? Can I wash the dishes? Can I help you cook? Can I help you clean? And say like, hey grown-ups, I cleaned up the living room. I'm sure they would very much appreciate that. Again, I'm using this technique to color in the coffee in this coffee mug. If yours is hot cocoa, that's fine. If yours is green tea, you can color it green. If it's something else, you can color it a different color. Now, what color do I want the coffee mug to be? It's a tough one. I'll do green. I like the color green almost as much as I like the color red. I'm going to use these lines again. Another interesting fun fact I learned about apple pies while I was doing research for this episode was that the list of ingredients for the first apple pie, or the apple pie recipe, the first one, was pretty simple. It was good apples, good spices, some figs, some raisins, some pears, and saffron. So they added a lot of stuff into it. I thought that was pretty interesting. I like the way that's looking. And again, take your time. There is no right or wrong answer when it comes to art. And there is no right or wrong answer when it comes to creativity. All of us, everybody, ever since y'all were little, the creativity has always been inside. You just need to let it out sometimes. All right. Cool. All right. Now I'm going to color in the tin of the apple pie. And normally these are like grayish. I'm going to separate them out a little bit more though, so that it doesn't look too dark. Because I want it to look gray. I don't want it to look black. If you want to color it in a different color, go for it. There is no right or wrong answer. This is the way that I chose to do it. You could choose a different way. It is your artwork. You are in charge of your artwork. You are in charge of your creativity. Yeah, I like the way it looks. If you want to use the pointillism technique, go for it. I know that one takes a longer time though, but I think it looks cool too. And if you're feeling like you need a little bit of a wiggle break, go ahead and pause the video and take a break. And whenever you feel ready to return to art, go for it. Return. I know that sometimes, even in our schoolwork, it can feel like it's just a little bit too much. And you sometimes need a break. That's okay. I know I feel like that sometimes too. Because I don't know if you know, I am actually going to school as well. After I get off some of the Zoom calls with my kiddos, the kindergarten students I teach, I go into a couple classes after school. And sometimes I need a break too. So I understand if you need one as well. Let's see. Now, the pie itself is going to be like a lightish, brownish, yellowish color. I'm using ish a lot because it's not quite one color. It's not quite one of these colors here. So I feel like I'm going to need to use two colors on the pie crust. Or on the pie itself. Let's see. Let's start with the insides of these holes though. Now, Another fun fact that I learned about apple pies was that early English apple pies had no sugar in them. Now, the reason behind that was because sugar a long time ago was very, very expensive. So they used some different things to help sweeten the apple pies, like the fruits. They used different kinds of fruits, like figs, pears. So this is the inside of the pie itself. I wanted it to be a little bit darker, so I'm using this technique here. I just want to say a thank you to all of the wonderful artists who have sent in their artwork from previous episodes. If you would like your artwork showcased on next week's episode of Art with Mr. Borja, send it on over to happydrawing123@gmail.com. I'd be happy to showcase it for the world to see. I'm going to use this yellow marker here. Now I'm going to go ahead and continue to do the pointillism technique for the pie itself here. Now it's going to take me a while, as you can see that there's a lot of area here that I need to cover. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will see you in a little bit. Alrighty friends, as you can see, I have colored in the pie with a yellow marker using the pointillism technique. I don't know if you can see all the little dots there, but it took me a while to do it, and that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and add some brown to it as well, because it looks like it's not cooked yet. So I'm gonna add these little brown little dots around the edges here like this. And you don't have to do this part if you don't want to. This is just the little details that I want to add to my artwork. If you want to add lines to your apple pie, that's fine as well. There is no right or wrong answer. So I have one last or a couple more apple pie fun facts for us. And this one is actually coming to you all from the American Pie Council. And it says that apple pie is the most popular flavor in America. And that's followed by, let me read my notes here, pumpkin pie, chocolate pie, lemon meringue, and cherry. So among all of those, apple pie is the most popular. I didn't know that. I thought that was pretty cool. And I'm gonna go a little bit darker where it goes in a little bit more, like that. And some more over here. And on the edges, I'm gonna go up a little bit, like that. And then continue to give it a little bit more dots here on the edges. Again, there is no right or wrong answer. If you want to add this part to your pie, you can. You don't have to. And then around the holes here as well, I'm going to put some. Again, take your time. I know that if you're doing this technique of pointillism, you are taking your time. I hope you are. I try not to rush every time I'm doing art, because I usually take the time that I'm drawing or coloring to kind of just relax. I find that coloring and drawing and art helps me to just chill out for a little bit. I feel like this is almost done here. I feel like I have one more fun fact for us all. And I want to share that there are all types of apple pies here in the US, I believe. Some of those are apple crumb pie. There's the classic apple pie. There's the Dutch apple pie, French apple pie, and this one I believe is in French as well. It's the name Tarte Tatin. I don't know if I said that the right way. I give it a try though. I want to shout out a good friend of mine, Brandon and Alex, for sharing their apple pies with me when we were in Paris. Very much appreciate that. That's where I had that, and it changed my life. So good. Had some ice cream on it. It was the bee's knees. Alrighty. We're almost done here with adding these little details. And again, you don't have to add these details if you don't want to. If you want to add all the little pointillism technique all throughout the pie, you can. I just like to see that there's still some yellow on the pie as well. If you wanted to color your crust orange though, go for it. If you wanted to color it red, go for it. It'd be cool to see a rainbow colored pie. Alright, and then for this part here, I want to do the same. I want to use a lot of dots around the edges or the corners of it. And in the middle, I'm not going to use too many. Like that. And again, take your time. There is no right or wrong answer. Alrighty friends, so I think I am finished with my apple pie. I added some of the little brown specks right here all around the edges, and I like the way that came out. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that I am done with my artwork. Now on last week's episode, I did not do an important thing here. Initial my artwork, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. And then again, for this week's episode, I'm gonna go ahead and initial my artwork as well, so that I know that I was the one that drew it. Now, for this week, I want to challenge you to write something about apple pies. If you like apple pies, great. If you don't like apple pies, you can write that. Or if you decided to change it up and say that it's not an apple pie, it's a pumpkin pie, or it's a cherry pie, or it's another type of pie, go for it. Or a chicken pot pie, I'm also a fan of those as well. You can go ahead and say whatever pie your artwork is. So go ahead and turn it around. I'm gonna go ahead and write a sentence that says, and remember, artists, writers, every time you are writing, it starts from the left and it goes to the right. And you always start a sentence with a capital letter. So I, use a finger space, love, use a finger space, apple, finger space, pie. And then you're gonna tell us what you like it with. I, finger space, like, finger space, it, finger space, with, finger space, there's no more room here. And then you tell us what it is that you like it with. Some of you will like it with a scoop of ice cream on top. I know that's really popular. Some of you will like it just plain like that. That's fine too. Some of you will like it with a cup of hot cocoa, like in the picture. I'm gonna go ahead and write, I like it with a finger space, scoop, finger space, of finger space, ice cream. Awesome. Now you are gonna go ahead and practice writing whatever it is that you like. If you do not know how to write a couple sentences yet, that is okay. You can just try, or you can ask a grown-up at home to help you. If there's nobody at home that can help you at the moment, again, that is okay. If you want to add just the word apple pie, great. I just want to challenge you in however you can write. Alrighty, friends, I think that about wraps up our time together here. We cannot forget our most important rule of art. Clean up all materials. So please do so. If you used markers, go ahead and check to make sure that all of the markers have the tops on them so that they don't dry out. The last thing you want as an artist is dried up markers. So make sure that your markers are all neatly put away. Make sure you organize all your materials so that you know where they are for next week's episode. Alrighty, friends, that about wraps up our time together for Art with Mr. Borja. Once again, if you would like your artwork showcased on next week's episode of Art with Mr. Borja, send it on over to happydrawing123@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at Art with Mr. Borja and tag your artwork with the hashtag Art with Mr. Borja. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you would like to share it with anybody else that you think would like to do art, please do so. And if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications to let you know when next week's episode comes out. Again, it happens every Wednesday. Alrighty, friends. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you next time. Happy drawing, and go Dodgers.